Hello and welcome to KG Graves, the new one-on-one series where I focus on just one celebrity. Please like, subscribe and hit the bell for more content like this. Thank you to those of you who have already subscribed. This is number 30, Ronald Reagan, at the Ronald W. Reagan Presidential Library in Simivalley, Ventura, California, USA. Once again, this is another person with a long history, and I have had to cut the video down to the more important facts. I hope you still enjoy it. Ronald Wilson Reagan was born on the 6th of February 1911 in Tampico, Illinois in the USA. He was the 40th US President and actor. He attended Dixon High School, where he developed interests in acting, sports and storytelling. His first job involved working as a lifeguard at Rock River in Lowell Park in 1927. Over 6 years he performed 77 rescues. After graduating from Eureka College in 1932, Ronald took jobs in Iowa as a radio announcer at several stations. He moved to WHO Radio in Des Moines as an announcer for Chicago Cubs baseball games. While traveling with the Cubs in California in 1937, Ronald took a screen test that led to a 7-year contract with Warner Brothers Studios. He earned his first screen credit with a starring role in the 1937 movie Love Is on the Air. In 1938, Ronald co-starred in the film Brother Rat with actress Jane Wyman. By the end of 1939, he had appeared in 19 films, including Dark Victory with Bette Davis and Humphrey Bogart, Santa Fe Trail with Errol Flynn in 1940, and Knute Rockne. Ronald and Jane announced their engagement at the Chicago Theatre and married on the 26th of January 1940 at the Wee Kirk of the Heather Church in Glendale, California. Their first daughter Maureen was born in 1941. Also in 1941, exhibitors voted him the 5th most popular star from the younger generation in Hollywood. Ronald was also elected to the board of directors of the Screen Actors Guild, SAG, and was made president 6 times. He played his favourite acting role in 1942's King's Row, where he plays a double amputee who recites the line, "Where's the rest of me?" Many film critics considered King's Row to be his best movie. Shortly afterwards, he was to co-star with Errol Flynn in Desperate Journey 1942. On the 18th of April the same year, Ronald was ordered to military active duty in San Francisco. After various transfers, on the 14th of January 1943, he was promoted to First Lieutenant. He returned to the 18th AAF base unit after completing his duty and was promoted to captain on the 22nd of July 1943. He remained until the end of World War II. Due to his military career, he never quite became a big first-rank film star, despite playing the lead role in numerous movies. After his wartime military service, he co-starred in such films as The Voice of the Turtle, John Loves Mary, The Hasty Heart, Bedtime for Bonzo, Cattle Queen of Montana, Tennessee's Partner, Hellcats of the Navy, the only film in which he appears with Nancy Reagan, and the 1964 remake of The Killers, his final film with Lee Marvin and Angie Dickinson. In 1945, Ronald and Jane adopted a son, Michael, and they had a second daughter who was born prematurely and sadly died on the 26th of June 1947. Jane filed for divorce in 1948, which was finalised in 1949. This was down to political differences. Ronald met actress Nancy Davis in 1949. She described their meeting by saying, "I don't know if it was love at first sight, but it was pretty close." They were engaged at Chasen's restaurant in Los Angeles and were married on the 4th of March 1952 at the Little Brown Church in the Valley, in the San Fernando Valley. Actor William Holden served as best man at the ceremony. They had two children, Patty, born in 1952, and Ronald, Ron, born in 1958. In the 1950s, Ronald moved into television and hosted General Electric Theatre, a series of weekly dramas which ran for 10 seasons from 1953 to 1962. On the 1st of January 1959, he was the host and announcer for ABC's coverage of the Tournament of the Roses parade. In his final work as a professional actor, Ronald was a host and performer from 1964 to 1965 on the television series Death Valley Days. Ronald was sworn in as Governor of California on the 2nd of January 1967. Also in 1967, the national debate on abortion was starting to gain traction. In the early stages of the debate, Democratic Californian State Senator Anthony Bielenson introduced the Therapeutic Abortion Act to reduce the number of backroom abortions performed in California. The state legislative sent the bill to Ronald's desk where, after many days of indecision, he reluctantly signed it on the 14th of June 1967. About 2 million abortions would be performed as a result, mostly because of a provision in the bill allowing abortions for the well-being of the mother. Ronald had been in office for only 4 months when he signed the bill, and later stated that had he been more experienced as governor, he would not have signed it. In 1967, he signed the Mulford Act, which repealed a law allowing the public carrying of loaded firearms, becoming California Penal Code 12031 and 171C. The bill, which was named after Republican Assemblyman Don Mulford, gained national attention after the Black Panthers marched bearing arms upon the Californian state capitol to protest it. Despite an unsuccessful attempt to force a recall election on Ronald in 1968, he was re-elected to governor in 1970. Ronald made his first presidential campaign in 1976, but was defeated by Gerald Ford. The 1980 presidential election featured Ronald against incumbent President Jimmy Carter, and was conducted amid a multitude of domestic concerns as well as the ongoing Iran hostage crisis. After receiving the Republican nomination, he selected one of his opponents from the primaries, George H. W. Bush, to be his running mate. His relaxed and confident appearance during the televised Reagan-Carter debate on the 28th of October boosted his popularity and helped to widen his lead in the polls. On the 4th of November, Ronald won a decisive victory over Carter. During his presidency, Ronald pursued policies that reflected his personal belief in individual freedom, brought economic changes, expanded the military, and contributed to the end of the Cold War. Teamed the Reagan Revolution, his presidency would boost American morale, reinvigorating the US economy and reduce reliance upon government. As president, Ronald kept a diary in which he commented on daily occurrences of his presidency and his views on the issues of the day. The diaries were published in May 2007 in the best-selling book The Reagan Diaries. Ronald was 69 years 349 days of age when he was sworn into office for his first term on the 20th of January 1981, making him the oldest first-term president at the time. He held this distinction until 2017 when Donald Trump was inaugurated at age 70 years 220 days, though Ronald was older upon being inaugurated for his second term. On the 30th of March 1981, Ronald, his press secretary James Brady, Washington police officer Thomas Delahunty, and Secret Service agent Tim McCarthy were struck by gunfire from a would-be assassin, John Hinckley Jr., outside the Washington Hilton Hotel. Although close to death, upon arrival at George Washington University Hospital, he was stabilized in the emergency room, then underwent emergency exploratory surgery. He recovered and was released from the hospital on the 11th of April, becoming the first US president to survive being shot in an assassination attempt while in office. The attempt had a significant influence on his popularity. He believed that God had spared his life so that he might go on to fulfill a higher purpose. In March 1983, Ronald introduced the Strategic Defense Initiative, SDI, a defense project that would have used ground and space-based systems to protect the United States from attack by strategic nuclear ballistic missiles. He believed that this defense shield could make nuclear war impossible. There was much disbelief surrounding the program's scientific feasibility, leading opponents to dub SDI Star Wars and argue that its technological objective was unattainable. The Soviets became concerned about the possible effects SDI would have, and leader Yuri Andropov said it would put the entire world in jeopardy. For those reasons, David Gergen, a former aide to President Reagan, believes that in retrospect, SDI hastened the end of the Cold War. In November 1984, Ronald won a landslide presidential re-election victory, carrying 49 of the 50 states, winning 523 of the then total 531 electoral votes. He was sworn in as president for the second time on the 20th of January 1985 in a private ceremony at the White House. At the time, the 73-year-old was the oldest person to take the presidential oath of office. This record was later surpassed by Joe Biden, who was 78 at his inauguration in 2021. On the 13th of July 1985, Ronald underwent surgery at Bethesda Naval Hospital to remove a section of his colon due to colorectal cancer. The surgery lasted just under 3 hours and was successful. In August of that year, he underwent an operation to remove skin cancer cells from his nose. In October, more skin cancer cells were detected on his nose and removed. In January 1987, he underwent surgery for an enlarged prostate that caused further worries about his health. No cancerous growths were found. In July of that year, aged 76, he underwent a third skin cancer operation on his nose. On the 8th of September 1989, Ronald underwent surgery in Rochester, Minnesota, to remove fluid from his brain due to an injury from falling off a horse on the 4th of July earlier that year. On the 13th of April 1992, he was assaulted by an anti-nuclear protester during a luncheon speech while accepting an award from the National Association of Broadcasters in Las Vegas. He was not injured. In August 1994, at the age of 83, Ronald was diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease. As the years went on, the Alzheimer's disease slowly destroyed his mental capacity. He was able to recognize only a few people, including his wife Nancy. In 1998, she told Vanity Fair, "Our relationship is very special. We were very much in love and are still. When I say my life began with Ronnie, well, it's true. It did. I can't imagine life without him." Ronald suffered a fall at his Bel Air home on the 13th of January 2001, resulting in a broken hip. The fracture was repaired the following day. He died on the 5th of June 2004 of pneumonia at his home in Bel Air district of Los Angeles at the age of 93. A national day of mourning was announced on the 11th of June. That same day, a state funeral was conducted in the Washington National Cathedral, presided over by President George W. Bush. Eulogies were given by former British Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher, former Canadian Prime Minister Brian Mulroney, and both former Presidents George H. W. Bush and President George W. Bush. Also in attendance were Mikhail Gorbachev and many world leaders, including British Prime Minister Tony Blair, Prince Charles representing his mother Queen Elizabeth II, German Chancellor Gerhard Schroeder, and Italian Prime Minister Silvio Berlusconi. After the funeral, the Reagan entourage was flown back to the Ronald W. Reagan Presidential Library in Simivalley, California, where another service was held and President Reagan was interred. At the time of his death, Ronald was the longest-lived president in U.S. history, having lived 93 years and 120 days, 2 years, 8 months, and 23 days longer than John Adams, whose record was surpassed. He was also the first U.S. president to die in the 21st century. His burial site is inscribed with the words he delivered at the opening of the Ronald Reagan Presidential Library. "I know in my heart that man is good, that what is right will always eventually triumph, and there is the purpose and worth to each and every life." In 2005, the United States Postal Service issued a President Ronald Reagan commemorative postage stamp. In 2006, he was inducted into the California Hall of Fame. In 2010, Arnold Schwarzenegger signed Senate Bill 944, authorized by Senator George Runner, to make every 6th of February the Ronald Reagan Day in California. On Independence Day 2011, a statue of Ronald was unveiled outside the US Embassy in London. His wife, Nancy Reagan, died on the 6th of March 2016 of congestive heart failure at the age of 94. Let's see where their graves are located. So, there you have it, the graves of Ronald Reagan, the 40th US President, and his wife Nancy. If you have enjoyed watching this video, then please like, subscribe and hit the bell for more content like this. Thank you for watching. See you on the next one.